It's the One Season Wonder podcast with Christopher, Jameson, and Tawan. Welcome back to One Season Wonder, the podcast where we explore TV shows that didn't make it past one season, whether they deserved better or got exactly what they earned. I'm Tawan, and I am here with...
I'm Jameson.
I'm Christopher.
And today we're continuing our deep dive into Firefly, the cult classic space western that Fox doomed before it even had a chance. Those bastards. This week we're looking at episode 3, Bushwhacked. What starts as a simple salvage mission turns into something much darker when Mal and the crew discover an abandoned ship floating in the black. A lone survivor, eerie clues to what happened, and a whole lot of talk about Reavers. Plus, the Alliance showing up at the worst possible moment, of course. We're breaking down all the tension, the horror vibes, and of course, Jane being Jane. So strap in and... much to Jameson's dismay. So strap in, don't go poking around ghost ships, and let's get into Bushwhacked. So today, we have Jameson leading the show. What you got going on, girl?
I just want to say we have a special guest. You just can't see him.
That's right.
He's on the floor.
He likes to hang out down there.
The dog. That's Astro. He's with us today. I just wanted to make sure people knew that.
Yeah.
He deserves his moment. It starts with the crew playing a makeshift version of basketball.
Yeah.
During the moment of them playing, they come across a drifting, seemingly abandoned ship, and they all kind of go up to
The bridge.
the bridge.
But before we get into that,
Okay.
because you skipped across one thing that I want to cover.
Okay.
And I realized you're like editing things, so I need you to find me a clip for this. The basketball game they're playing. I know you haven't seen it because you've seen no movies. The Road to El Dorado. The cartoon. You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen that.
God, what a great movie.
I'm pretty sure I haven't seen it.
You should all watch it. But it's a great Disney movie where two dudes stumble upon the city of gold, and they're white dudes, and all the native people think they're gods. And so there's a game that they play, and they do the two gods versus the eagles of their land. And it's the same thing. It's a ball through a hoop on the side of the wall. Kind of different, but in the movie, it's like that, but on the side of a wall. And they use their hips to knock the ball into the circle.
That sounds complicated.
God, but it's a great part of the movie.
We'll have to watch that.
Yeah.
Y'all should check it out.
I do want to say something also. In this scene, I noticed as Simon and River were walking, because they were on a platform above, watching everybody down below. And when they were walking in, Simon is wearing the exact same outfit. Does this guy not have a change of clothing? Even
Him and his sister are just fucking weird.
Well, no, she had a change of clothing.
No, I know, but she
They
also
are.
has wet hair all the time. So,
Not
Yeah.
in this episode.
no, but
Yeah, finally it's dry.
It's getting frizzy now.
But yeah, he is always wearing.
Yeah, he's always wearing the black vest and the white shirt.
Yeah.
Or the
I feel
first
like they're
one,
all
this
kind of wearing most of the same thing.
Yeah.
But I guess it.
Well,
On that note, I made another note. Fucking Jane was wearing some badass cargo shorts on the fucking... Those things are timeless.
I'll have to go look at those again.
Like,
I missed the cargo
right
shorts.
at the knee.
Oh, yeah.
Solid.
Right.
Pockets for days.
Men in their pockets.
Yeah.
I was all about
It'd be nice if we had pockets.
Right.
it.
All right, go ahead.
So yeah. Anyways, so they're
So-
playing basketball, and what's his face?
Wash.
I
think
can
it's
never
Wash.
remember his name. I don't know why. He tells them that they've come across this abandoned ship, and so they all kind of go up and are looking at it from the outside, and I guess trying to decide like what they kind of want to do. And Mal's just like, "Fuck it, let's go. Like, let's go in."
Yeah. They were some of them were hesitant. Like,
Yeah.
Jane didn't. He was like, why? Wasn't Jane the one that was like, why did we bother him?
So Jane
Yeah.
was wishy-washy because he only wants to do it if it benefits him.
Right, which
Yeah.
it did. As soon as Mal said there could be some shit on that stuff that we
He's like,
can...
Yeah.
He was like, oh, yeah,
People
let's
could
go
be
help
hurt.
these people.
Yeah, right. Which like he doesn't care.
Right, and it was funny because that was also a really weird part because it took the second time watching it before I figured out what the heck Jane was talking about, because when they walked in, I didn't notice it the first time around, but they hit a body in the air.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning.
Right at the beginning.
I forgot about that.
I watched that the first time. And so when Jane was like, they were talking about something, it's like, well, maybe it was just that guy that we ran into and he killed all the people on the ship. I'm like, what guy you ran into? Ran into where? At the bar? Like, what guy are you talking about? I'm thinking back the episode before.
It is interesting, though, that they did run into that guy, because did all the stuff that happened on the ship just happen? That he
Must
just happened
have.
to be...
No,
but
it
how
didn't.
There's no way it could have just
Because the
happened.
Reapers came and left.
Well, hold on. We'll get to why it had to have just happened when we get inside the ship. I'll tell you why.
Okay, yeah. I didn't want to say too much, but yeah, it is interesting. But
to the end of
maybe we'll figure
and then we'll come back.
Maybe we'll figure it out. Maybe you have an idea. As to,
Maybe we'll do a special episode where we do it all in reverse.
and then it will be like watching Saw backwards.
Right.
And, yeah.
They're really just trying to get people back all their body parts.
Yeah, it's a guy helping out handicapped people. You watch Saw backwards; it's really touching.
It's like Jaws. The Jaws one cracks me up too.
Yeah. Next scene is them boarding the ship then. So Mal, Zoe, and Jane go in and explore the eerie, lifeless vessel and discover that the crew is missing. And they find signs of struggle, but no bodies, just eerie remnants of life. And in this part, my first note of this whole episode was Jane is a pussy.
What do you have to back that up with?
Well, because it even goes into before even going, and they're discussing, oh, are we going to do it? He's all like, oh, no. But really, it's just because he wants it to benefit him. But then they get on there, and he's shitting his pants the whole time, I feel like. He's so on edge, just waiting for something to happen.
He definitely does not like Reavers. He's made that very clear from the get-go.
No.
Right.
But I just think it's so funny
It's the
because
one
he
thing.
acts like such a hard ass. But yet he's, terrified.
Well, the Reavers are the one thing that he is absolutely like, I don't want to go anywhere near Reavers.
Yeah.
And you use the word bully, which is dead on, right? Because in the episode, he's bullying Simon about going on the ship after them, and he makes fun of his sister, space trash or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's using some analogy of how a space trash sucks up to a vessel and attaches onto it, and he's like, you and your sister, which I thought was funny.
So, a couple of things here in this scene I noticed, and I forgot, because in my editing of the episodes, I have now rewatched the first episode again, by the way, because I have to put in clips. And I realized we missed something, because we know what we were talking about in the first episode, how we were like, well, why didn't the Reavers get them while they were up in the air? And I said, well, maybe it's just easier to get them when they're on land. Mm-hmm. All of the ships have a magnetic field that will pull another ship in, and that's how they dock and connect. So the Reavers could have done that, and that's what they used. This Serenity used to connect to this ship. There's a magnetic thing that they use for that, and then.
You talking about the tentacle thing? Or?
No, that was something that was
that's different.
Oh,
okay,
that's different.
Yeah,
which I picked up on right away as soon as I saw it. I was like,
Yeah,
I was
feel like
oblivious.
that's
I was like,
supposed
oh,
to-
that's how they dock.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense.
But that Wash literally mentions it and says it in the first, and I don't know how I missed it the first 4 times I watched it.
Oh, he says it in the first episode?
He says it in the first episode about the magnetic connector, and I totally missed it until I was editing and had to rewatch it yet again.
Wow.
You're where they've gone in, they're looking around.
Yeah, they go in and they start looking.
Right. So in this part, it does have a nice, cool, creepy feel, but the thing that makes it feel the creepiest, I think, are the kids' toys. The kids' bicycles just there. And at one point, there's just a red balloon, and I'm like, wait.
Oh, I saw that, and I was
Pennywise
like,
here?
No, as soon as I saw that, I was like, that's weird. I'm like, did that come before or after the show?
Right.
Because I thought this.
Well, the book has definitely been out for longer than the show. Absolutely.
The show, yeah. But I wonder if they purposely put that in there as a reference.
I don't know,
it's
but
a little Easter egg.
As
soon as I saw it, it's like an Easter egg.
Yeah.
But as soon as I saw it, I thought the same exact thing. I was like, oh, it's Pennywise. Something else too, because you were saying how it was eerie because of the kids' toys.
Yeah.
It also very much gave me the vibe of Fallout and going into an abandoned vault and all that stuff just being left there. It also gave me very much the same vibe as that. Because they also leave, have all the kids' toys and stuff a lot in all of the vaults.
Yeah.
And so it reminded me a lot of that too.
Yeah, abandoned kids' toys are just creepy.
Yeah, it is always creepy.
All right, so now we go back to the ship.
Yeah, sorry.
Simon, talking about a pussy, he's staring at them, watching them put on their suit before they even go on the other ship.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And Jane, which I've grown to like. I kind of like him now.
Jane?
Yeah.
You did
I
like
him.
it. You liked it
You've
from the
always liked
beginning.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
Are you okay?
I can't remember who I liked and who I didn't like.
Are you an
But
imposter?
I'm good with him. He makes me laugh.
Yeah.
And he's poking fun at Simon, and he's teasing him about going on the ship. But it's
Talking
like
about Jane or Wash?
Jane.
Okay, I just making sure
when
you
Wash is cheesy.
Okay, I was
when-
just making sure you were talking about the right person.
When Zoe and he's talking about when Zoe and Mal were first
No, I
initially
know.
putting the suits on to go on the ship,
Yeah.
and Simon was looking at them. You could tell
He's
he looked.
all like
I don't know if he's like maybe he's claustrophobic or something. Maybe.
something.
But yeah, he'll stuff his sister in a box.
Well,
Yeah.
right. And then, so we do get to when he's in space, he's freaking out. But we can get to that part later.
Yeah.
But,
Oh yeah.
he's like in awe of the spaceship. He's like, there's barely anything in between us and nothing.
Right.
So Jane like makes fun of him, which I thought was funny. But then I'm looking at the spacesuits as they're walking through. They have armor on them.
Yeah, they were different looking. They weren't like
So,
normal,
like,
traditional looking space
Shoulder
suits.
pads and there's armor stuff, and I'm like, why do they have that if he's making the analogy of glass and sleeves?
Right.
nothing.
There's little.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a whole lot between their suit and the outer air
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're ready for some kind of fight
I
back
guess.
in
Space
their
fighting.
army days or whatever.
Well, I mean, I guess it's probably better to be prepared than unprepared.
Right.
I want to see a space fight if that's the case. They better be pew 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 pew.
But it's not like slow
Right?
motion.
No.
Yeah.
They're like.
Yeah. It's like the Matrix, like the bullets, like.
Right.
But they do. I'm thinking, why do they have all this armor stuff if it's just literally a spacesuit where they're just trying to?
Right. Go from
Go.
one thing. Go outside the ship. So they go to the ship,
Mm-hmm.
and Jane, of course, goes and tells Simon, "Oh, they need you on the ship," and
Yeah.
he puts the suit on, and they didn't need him on the ship.
I did
He
like
was
that
just
part,
working with
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And somehow I put the suit on backwards. But Kaylee
Yeah.
was already there too.
Yeah.
But anyway, they all split up. It was Mal, Zoe, Kaylee, Simon, and Jane.
Yeah.
Jane went to the kitchen area. Oh, and this is the part where when that it happened pretty quickly. The Reavers having just left, because when they went in initially and they saw the dining area, there were plates of food there, and those plates of food were pretty fresh. They weren't rotten. or
But
anything.
how if the Reavers had just left, how did they not see the Serenity?
I don't know. Maybe
It's space.
they went the other direction.
It's still just crazy that they just happened.
Yeah,
to...
you can't see in space. This is as close as you can see.
I don't know.
But
it's
they
just
may have gone the
interesting.
other way. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
but it
I
was
guess,
pretty
but-
close because I noticed that the food was pretty fresh.
Yeah.
But Jane is in the kitchen area, and I don't know what Jane's collecting. He's like collecting trash. It's
No,
all
food.
Yeah, I know. It's
It's like
like
aluminum foil.
no, I know. But
No, those are packs. They're like MREs, more or less.
Oh, it looked like aluminum
yeah,
foil.
probably, but it does look weird because
Yeah.
it looks like he's just like taking all the stuff off like counters that was all just like
Yeah, it looked like trash to me.
yeah, it looked
Like,
like,
why is he collecting this trash?
oh, dirty dishes, great, that's perfect.
look at
awesome.
dishes. Woohoo!
Yeah,
So yeah, and then all of a sudden, I can't remember what comes first. Does he get attacked by the guy? Zoe and Mal go into the room. And they find
in
that
the room
there's
where they're like, oh, it's definitely like a storage type
yeah,
room.
and they find a thing that's locked. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, that must be important shit in there.
yeah,
So they go and get it unlocked, and then
No, you're right.
then River shows up. River shows up.
oh, yeah. River
with
shows
her
up
bare
too.
ass feet on
Yeah.
some fucking
Yeah.
grate that she's
Yeah.
gonna fall through.
Yeah,
She shows up because obviously she's either very empathic or she's got some kind of she's psychic now. I don't know if she was already psychic or if they made her psychic, but she
Yeah.
has some kind of ability where she can sense something.
yeah,
Hmm.
So that's why she was having all the nightmares and all the screaming.
And the
Yeah.
thing on the ship where she's like ghosts. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
She kept saying weird stuff. So she goes and she follows wherever it takes her to, and she goes to the ship where Mal and Zoe are, and she's looking up, and Mal and Zoe look up, and they're like, "Oh fuck! Now
Yeah.
we know what happened to these people."
Yeah.
And then Mal's like, "Oh, I know what happened to these people."
yeah,
And then he calls out to everyone, "Get back to the other ship."
Mhm.
But then they hear Jane. He's talking about whatever, and then something
like a
happens
struggle.
to Jane,
Yeah.
and a gunshot goes off. So they all run to where Jane is.
Yeah.
And then the guy, and this was actually pretty funny. This is one of the funnier parts, and I really liked it. So once Jane's attacked and everybody goes upstairs, they're like, who was it? He's like, oh, it was a really big
Oh,
guy,
yeah,
and he was
big,
really
strong
strong
dude.
guy.
Yeah.
And then they see there's somebody over hiding, so they go over, and Mal goes over and punches that guy because he's still kind of, he's trying to be weird. So Mal punches him in the face and knocks him out and pulls him out. And Simon goes, oh yeah, he's a real beast. I'm surprised you're still alive.
Right.
He's just a regular
That
tiny
was
little
funny
dude.
because Simon finally got, like you said, like
Yeah.
got to dig back at Jane.
And then Jane was like, well, he was much bigger when I couldn't see him.
Right. Yeah.
So I like that he was able to give a shit back to Jane because
Mhm.
Jane does give him a lot of shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, they locate a single traumatized survivor who is barely responsive, and then Simon sedates him and brings him back to Serenity. And yeah, they bring him back to like the medical room that they bring everybody to. And I thought this was funny, and I wrote this down because they do whatever with him, sedate him, and then figure out like what they're gonna do next, right? And they walk out and close the door. I'm like, why are they leaving this guy in here? This is I feel like this is the worst room to
And they
leave
do it
this
like
guy in.
3 times.
Because the thing is like, even if you can lock that door and he can't get out, he's still in that room, which probably has sharp equipment in it. So it's like you're gonna walk back in,
Which
and
we found out they did.
right.
no, I know, but that's the thing. Like before any of that happened,
At least
my
strap
first
him down.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, strap him to that.
Tie
You're just
that
gonna leave that
motherfucker
dude
up.
in there with
Right.
everything
Hog
in there.
tie him and put him in the zip ties, hands and feet.
But yeah, I thought that was the first thing I thought of when Mal like came out, closed the door. I was like, they're just gonna leave him in there.
Yeah.
It's like,
Especially considering we're gonna jump forward and I'm gonna spoil it, but Mal like knowing what happened to this dude.
Yeah.
Like once they get to that part, he knew.
Yeah.
This
That this guy
motherfucker
was
just
not-
left him in a
Yeah,
room.
just
It's
left him
like,
in that room.
hey, stay here. Just relax. Here's a.
Yeah, right. Like that sedation's gonna wear off at some point,
Well,
and then
the
that
funny-
dude's just gonna be in that room.
Yeah, and
like,
the funny thing is like in one of my notes I have about this part is it's another thing where it shows Mal, he's very aware and cares about his crew because when they were in there with that guy, Mal turned around and he could see Anara and Kaylee looking in the windows, and as soon as he saw them, he was like, "Dope him." And so I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Just do it."
Mhm.
But then they leave.
I didn't think about that because Mal probably just fucking knocked him out.
Yeah, Mal had knocked him out when he was hiding in the little area of the ship.
Yeah.
But Mal knew, he had an idea of what was going on. He knew instinctually this guy's going to be a fucking disaster,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to let him harm my
Affect
crew,
them, yeah.
dope him. But I still, maybe they did time him down and I just didn't notice.
Oh, they
He
didn't-
was
Yeah, that's
free
right,
as
because-
shit.
Yeah, he was just doped up, and they just closed the door.
They
And that's
are-
what I'm saying. Like, even with the door closed, okay, cool. Maybe he
You can
can't
lock
get
it,
out, But it's like he's still then in that room. He could just be in that room, even if he was smart enough to like, grab something, like say like a scalpel, and like still just lay on the table, pretend to be doped up, and then somebody come in and like he attacked them. So I'm like, you couldn't have put him in like a room with nothing,
Right.
Like I feel like it's just not a good room.
You're like the
to put
room they
this guy
had,
in.
what's his name in?
Yeah.
Dobson.
Dobson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the same
Yeah.
thing. Like, why did they put him in like that kind of room? But whatever. They leave fucking crazy guy in the medical room, and they head back to the ship because I think they wanted to probably investigate a little bit further about what was going on, and we see what they were all looking up at when Mal, Zoe, and River were all looking up in that one room, and then they also, of course, wanted to go back to that one room to be able to unlock and get whatever loot was in there, possibly.
Hold on a second. Are you talking about they went to the dining room to have a discussion about what to do with all the people or whatever's going on in there? Is that what you're talking about?
That's
I'm just like leading up to it, because they leave the guy, they go back to the dining room, right, and talk about
right, because of course
what they're gonna do. Because
Jane, of course, is like, "Fuck Reavers, I don't want to go over there."
Yeah.
Talking about him being a scaredy cat, whatever.
right.
But of course, Shepherd Book wants to go over and have a funeral and do
that's
something.
right.
That's,
He's like, we should.
And Mal, of course, is like, whatever. But then Mal ends up thinking about it and realizes that he does think that it's a good idea. Go ahead.
So, so that was my note of like why I'm starting to like him.
Mhm.
Mal is a fucking salesperson.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? And he has that thought. He's like, you know what? You're right. Go take care of the dead. Go preserve them. And he makes it sound really good. He's like, y'all go take care of that. It's okay.
Right.
We're going to tidy up over here.
Mhm.
And they leave, and he's like, we got a problem.
Yeah, because he makes it out like because at first he's against it. He's like, no, I don't want to do all that. That's whatever. And then he does. He's like, and at first, even as a viewer, you're like, oh yeah. It shows like he's aware of human nature, even though if it's something that he wouldn't do or he doesn't agree with.
Right.
He understands that this is something that people do to move on. It's just something we do as humans, and that we have these ritualistic needs.
Yeah.
Right.
And then as soon as they leave, he's like, well, this is what's really going on.
Yeah. We're fucked.
And I was like,
right.
oh, look at him selling that shit right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like him for that because I was like, that was good.
Right.
And there's a big old issue.
Yeah. So, yeah, they go back to the ship. Or I guess, because the whole crew pretty much went back, right?
Yeah,
after they see the people hanging.
Because then they...
Yeah.
Well, after they have that meeting in the dining room, they all go back because...
Then they want to, like, get whatever else.
Simon's checking the bodies, I guess, and because he was like, I'm not afraid of bodies don't bother me.
Yeah, that's right,
like,
yeah.
And then, of course, Shepherd Book wants to do his funeral thing, and then the others are collecting stuff.
Yeah, just collecting stuff. That's what it was.
I think River was the only one that she wasn't there, was she, when they went back?
I don't think so. I think she stayed with Inara. Yeah, she did, because it cuts to a scene at some point. She's sleeping on Inara's bed, remember?
That's right.
She's having dreams again or whatever.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, so they go back, they lower all the dead people that are all like chained up to a thing, and they start trying to get to all the loot and everything to take that back.
What was that loot? It's been 2 weeks since I watched this episode.
It was like seeds for farming.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And while they're there, their looting gets interrupted.
I don't know exactly what happened. They were interrupted by...
Mal sent that crew while they're trying to fix the tentacle thing.
Oh, that's
because
right.
The ship was booby trapped.
That's right.
Yeah,
Kaylee, Mal, and
Wash,
Zoe were fixing that booby trap thing.
Because they had to like go and disconnect, I think, like the power or something, and that's what Kaylee came in.
Yeah.
And so they had to fix that so they can like detach from the ship. At that
exactly.
point.
But I did not realize that when they docked, it was that the tentacles come up and it makes it a point to focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, oh, that's like oxygen or fucking.
Yeah, I thought initially that I was supposed to do that.
In a way, it does look like it technically could, but since it did weirdly focus on it, I was like, that's weird. So when they brought it back up later, I'm like, okay, that definitely makes sense because
maybe it
definitely
was just
seemed
like.
odd.
Well, yeah, I mean, as a person that when you watch it the first time, you don't know anything
know.
about it. You think, oh, when they connect, this is just lines, wires, whatever that connect to it.
It's like it almost like that ship needs like the power from your ship or something, or some way to like open the door so that you can get.
There's
from
some
one
kind
ship
of
to the
connection
other.
for some reason or another. So I just thought it was a natural part of connecting. So it wasn't until later when Wash was looking at it that they pointed out that, oh, this is a problem.
Yeah, and we get it.
But that's an interesting way to, because you think about it from, and this is being way too deep, but from a director or a higher up perspective, to make that the point to kind of focus on that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Did it really sell that point, or was it just to make us focus that that's wires and weird? And
well, I think
because to me, I'm thinking like a problem is like if I were to do it, it's like they dock, red lights flashing, fucking
alarms going
things
off,
spewing around.
But I think
like, that's a sketchy situation.
Yeah, but I think it's supposed to be almost a little bit more low key so that you don't realize that it's
booby
booby trapped and you're stuck there unless you're able to. Because think if the Reavers were still on that ship and they booby trapped them, they wouldn't be able to just easily disconnect. And if they didn't know that, because it was more like low key and not a bunch of flashy lights and explosions that connected these tentacles to them, Wash wouldn't have known right away. So then when they tried to detach, they would have been stuck to it and they would have been fucked.
Yeah, if the Reavers were still on that ship and they were attached to it, Kaylee would not have been able to get in there.
Yeah, she wouldn't have been able to go in there
do all that stuff.
Do what she did, so I think it makes sense the way that they did it that way.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm just critical. And I don't like it.
And I think while they were doing that, isn't that when the Alliance picked up Serenity? And did they like call into the ship or something? How did they?
No, I think it was towards the end when they were getting ready, like when they resolved everything.
Yeah. They were like,
because once I have it here in my notes, once they're done looting the ship, Wash gets another alert. They think it's the Reavers, but no, it's the Alliance Death Star that we've been calling it because it's huge. Also, one of the parts, River is kind of going crazy a little bit. She's sleeping in Nara's room in the shuttle, and she starts having these crazy dreams, and you see because she's reacting to the guy that they have in the medical area.
Yeah.
When he does something, she does something. So again, it's like, it just makes me wonder. Not only maybe is she psychic now, or was she always psychic, but you think her brother would know she had psychic abilities from before.
Yeah.
Or maybe they were conducting experiments to where they took these people who were geniuses who had these extra special abilities just mentally, and they knew that they could push them and do stuff to them so that they could feel and read Reavers in case for battle purposes. Like if they ever had to fight Reavers, they had a whole bunch of people that can sense what they're thinking, how they're feeling, how they're acting. Right. Maybe that was part of the experiment they were doing.
It in some way.
Yeah, so they would know, like how much you're like, oh, the Reavers are doing this, or they can sing.
So they can kind of like give a signal before they attack, kind of thing.
Yeah, and how they think and what they do as a way to. But something else comes up later on that makes me wonder about the Alliance and the Reavers. That's not right now. We'll talk about that when we get to that point. But there is something that happens later on that I'm like, okay, well, what's that about? But also, in this part here, when the Alliance does catch them, I don't understand why they don't outrun the Alliance like they did. The thing is huge. That ship is humongous. Mm-hmm. I mean, if they could outrun the Reaver ship, which was also big, that Alliance ship is huge.
Yeah, it probably doesn't move nearly as fast.
Yeah,
no,
well, I mean, you say probably. We don't know what kind of rocket engine it has, or...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just, but I guess if they've already identified the ship, maybe they were worried, well, if they know it's going to be on the run forever, we never get...
Yeah, that's true too. So I guess, since they've had issues with the Alliance already,
right. So
it's might as well just like figure out how to get through this.
So they come onto the ship.
But before they even got to the ship, remember the guy is talking to the dude that communicates everything, and it's like, hey, what else do we need to know about the ship? The Serenity.
Oh, and they couldn't tell him shit.
Yeah, but then the one person said the whole thing about like, oh yeah, there's 2 fugitives.
Oh, on their own ship when they're talking about.
Yeah, on the Death Star.
On the Death Star. Yeah, talking about 2 fugitives.
Like throwing around the Death Star very loosely.
Yeah.
It's more of a triangle than anything.
Isn't it a circle?
The Death Star is a sphere.
Yeah.
If you really want to get into it. But I'm talking about y'all are calling this trapezoid-looking Joker.
Yeah, it has like flat sides.
Yeah.
You were the one that called it the Death Star. You're the one that said
No.
Yeah,
I have proof.
Yeah.
Trust me. I've seen.
Go ahead.
I've seen our shows a million times.
You know what? If you edit it right here and fact check me, I want to see.
I can't do it right now.
It should be right here.
Something. Yeah, it'll be right here. I'll put it up there.
Right here.
But yeah, then he mentioned to the head guy that
Watch me be totally
there was rumored basically Christopher Wilde was spreading rumors out on Persephone that
about the 2 fugitives.
that they may have picked up a couple fugitives.
Because why else would anybody be who would care? Right.
Well, they want. Well, I think the Alliance.
No, because Serenity is a big deal.
Yeah, the Alliance isn't like they know what they do. They know that they knew that they were attached to that other thing, so they wanted to know what the hell's going on, why they were doing that. Then they find out something else is they could possibly have 2 fugitives.
Exactly. My next one is getting into like the interrogations. Is there anything you want to add between the two, though?
Well, first for that, of course, Mal tells everybody, okay, get all that cargo.
Oh yeah, like bring it all to the
bring it all back out here, and they're like, we're gonna give it to them.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And he's like, and he's probably like, well, it's better we just give it to them and just let it die.
Right. Yeah.
And then he tells Simon to go get his sister, and Simon's like, oh, you're just going to hand us over to them too? Would we just money you? And then they don't really tell you what he does with them.
Right.
And
Simon needs to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Well, I was shocked because Shepard probably didn't know what was going on either. But Shepard went over and
I think he gets that vibe from him, though. He's like, do what he says.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing, do what he says.
Well, I think also it goes back to Mal allowing the Shepard to do the whole burial thing. Is that Mal has given him some type of trust in a way.
Right.
So when a situation like this happens, Shepard can then look at Mal and be like, okay, we just need to trust what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Because so far it's worked, you know?
I'm going to disagree with that. Mal is using Shepard as his puppet at that point. Shep is fucking advocating for this funeral, and Mal's like, you know what? Good idea. Take the people that would freak out with you. Go do your funeral.
Well, that's kind of what she's saying.
But I think it's all beneficial to each other.
I don't think it's trust, though. I think it's like...
Well, no. she's saying that Shepard now trusts Mal because Mal allowed him to do that.
Oh, so it's one way.
Right.
It's not both ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mal.
Because I don't think Mal trusts Shepard.
It's benefiting Mal because Mal is like kind of keeping the peace amongst his people that are on his ship. That having the Shepard there technically probably benefits Mal as well. So of course he has to then give Shepard something, technically, quote unquote. So then Shepard does gain like this trust for Mal.
Okay. If you're saying it's one way, I'm getting that.
Yeah.
Right.
Both ways, negative.
I don't even think Mal was paying attention.
No.
Mal was always like, Shepard, take care of this. Shep just on his own.
Yeah, did it. And Mal was like, I'm going to go get this loot. Like, that's what he's worried about. Yeah.
So then they get on board and they ask about if they have a fugitive, if they have a brother or sister. And he's like, we don't have any kids on the ship.
Oh, yeah.
The guy's like,
Slick.
Yeah. I know, really good thing. And the guy was like, they are children, blah, blah. So anyway, and then he pulls them all onto his ship and then starts the interrogation.
Yeah, so while they're, like, doing the interrogation, the Alliance crew is on the Serenity, like, just fucking going. They're
stupid.
The dumbest thing.
So stupid.
Like, let's look under these trays. Like,
I literally have. The Alliance soldiers start searching the ship for fugitives, and they are looking in the dumbest places. They're lifting up placemats. They look like every place on the table. I'm like, really? Do you think they shrank? It's like, honey, I shrunk the Alliance.
You never know.
Is that your
strategy?
But no, I thought the same thing. I was like, really? And they're just like throwing shit around, tearing it apart. Yeah.
Looking in little boxes that are like this big. It's like, it's not Smurfs, people. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I thought that shit was so dumb. Like, I understood it in a way because, like, yeah, it's the Alliance. They're just going to go in there. They're not going to care, right? They're just going to do whatever. But yeah, it's like you're looking for human, like, adult-sized people in, like,
kids.
Tiny little spots, right? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they were doing. They're like, no, not in there. Yeah. It was dumb. It was so dumb.
I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I get maybe wasting time for TV show sake, I suppose, but come on now.
Yeah, just being silly.
Maybe it was just to give the idea of they're just fucking tearing it up.
It's like they were looking for drugs.
Wherever.
Yeah, right. It was very much more like drugs. More
maybe
than
there's a map to the...
It was ridiculous.
This way.
Yeah. Yeah, we drew a map where we hit them before
arrows
and... There's a big X.
Yeah, it's an X, a treasure map. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I got it.
Yeah. We keep them in this one spot all the time. Yeah.
But none of us know how to get there without this damn map.
Yeah. We don't know this shit at all. We're not on there all the time.
Before my life. Yeah, I was so annoyed. I was like, God, you guys are stupid.
Yeah.
Both times I watched
it was just obnoxious. Yeah.
Well, you think they're the stormtrooper? We're gonna bring up Star Wars again.
Oh my god!
The fucking stormtroopers that can't aim or shoot or do nothing. They're just the grunts.
Yeah, they were dumb.
Find them. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello. Nope. We're good.
Down here, we've turned over every placemat.
Yep, there's not a single person under any of these cups in here. It's crazy.
Even the fucking, like, general dude or, like, the dude in charge, he's like, just shoot him. Let the fucking brass deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, he don't have no brains either.
No.
Right. Yeah.
Which
none of us care. They're just getting paid.
It's a big
chocolate bars.
And chocolate. The Dubai chocolate bars. So yeah, the Alliance Captain Harkin, that's his name.
Harkin's a douche.
He interrogates each crew member. He suspects them of piracy and refuses to believe in the existence of reavers.
That's what I was going to talk about. So I was wondering, because when I was thinking about whether or not they were trying to get River to, they're doing this testing to see if they can reavers. But when he's interrogating them, I wasn't sure if he wasn't believing in reavers or if he was just like, well, everybody uses this story.
Right.
Like, everybody always uses reavers.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell if he thought that people just use reavers as an excuse because they know they're out there and they're big bad guys, or if he just didn't believe reavers existed at all.
Yeah.
Like, the Santa Claus. Well, they're
Krampus.
They're the Krampus.
Santa Claus is good. He's bringing his kids. Krampus is putting you in a section
he's the bad
with
Santa.
you.
Yeah. Also, I did love the interrogation scenes. I thought those were really funny. I loved how Zoe was super like, it's none of your fucking business.
Right, yeah.
And Wash was like, oh my god, have you seen her legs? And
it's like,
she's
so
legs
hot.
attached to her butt.
Yeah.
And then of course Kaylee is still fixated on the fact that this guy, because the guy Captain, what's his name?
Harkin.
Called the Serenity a junker.
Yeah.
And she was not happy about that. She's like, she was very offended. So he's talking, her first thing is, she's discussing what a junker really is. And she's that was kind of funny.
It very much shows, of course, like everybody's like personality.
Oh,
again,
totally.
Like in each interrogation.
And it's hilarious you bring up all those except my favorite. Because my favorite is Jane sitting there.
Yeah, well, he said nothing. He didn't do anything.
And it cuts to like them tossing his room and finding like knives and
all guns.
It's just
he's never said shit.
Yeah,
I love that, but that's why he's my favorite.
Yeah, but I liked the interrogation.
Even though I don't remember
because it really did showcase everybody's personality.
Yeah, the fucking stormtroopers are still raiding the ship. They're taking fucking forever to go through the ship. And it cuts to a scene of the one survivor from the ship that they came to. Him in the fucking medical room doing what I said he would be doing, almost, in a certain way.
Freaking out.
But he starts fucking freaking out and grabbing all the shit and kind of fully almost transforming into like what a Reaver is.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, all they show you though is him grabbing the scalpel and you think he's gonna stab somebody and come in.
Pretty much do what I kind of assumed
he's gonna do
possibly at some point. But he ends up doing something different, which we find out at some point. So yeah, the lone survivor transforms into a crazy Reaver-like killer, and he does eventually get out of that room.
Well, they take him out. They take him out.
That's true. They go in there because I forgot they're going.
Because I was surprised because we see him take the scalpel and we think he's going to attack whoever comes in the room. But the next time they show them take him out on a gurney to their ship, to their infirmary.
Yeah,
and that's during the whole discussion Mal's having during his interrogation, talking about, it's Reavers, and the guy's like, there are no, it's not Reavers, everybody says that. How many times I've heard it's the Reavers. But I don't remember how we got from that point to the next big point, but because I don't recall.
I know, I'm trying to remember too, because
I watched it.
They're interrupted during the interview. Because
he did
loses his marbles real quick.
Right. Yeah. Well, they found out he had cut his tongue. He sllit his tongue.
He sllit his tongue.
He tells
during the interview. He tells Mal, he sllit his tongue slit. And that's when Mal's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows what's going on. Dude gets the call. Yeah. And that's when they cut the suit where it's fucking
losing his shit and killing everybody.
Freddy and Jason, these dudes.
Yeah. Right.
And so then they stop the interrogation and then take off to go find him to like secure him.
They were gonna throw Mal in the slammer.
Yeah.
Put him in the clink.
Yeah. But then Mal was like, no, I need to go with you because I know Serenity well and whatever else. So it's like, no, you need me with you. So.
Which, on that note.
But yeah, because he was handcuffed and then he was like, well, can you unhandcuff me? So then they just put it in the front. It's like, all right.
Dude, I'd be like, you know what? Do it on your own.
Yeah. Well,
right? Not doing that at all.
Yeah, go ahead. You know what?
It was right before the scene that we do see where they had put.
So then we end up seeing where they're at, and they're in their space suits, sitting on like the outside of the Serenity, where they can't be seen. Which I thought was funny because all these little ships are flying around.
Yeah,
the Death Triangle.
Made the comment to that.
No, I made the comment while we were watching it.
Slurs about the Death Star.
When they initially docked Serenity to the Alliance ship, a little ship like had come by and and I'm like, are they just not gonna fucking see them now? Like
maybe they're
on the dark side of the Serenity.
Still, I thought that was dumb. I was like, I get what they're doing because they had to hide them somewhere.
Literally, don't worry about it, sweetheart.
But I'm like, how does none of these other little ships that are flying around the Alliance see these two just holding on to the outside of the Serenity? Whatever.
Well,
I thought that was funny.
In some aspect, they're tiny compared to that ship. So
maybe they blend in.
Can't see them.
Maybe.
And of course, River's all like,
yeah, she's like, oh my God, space.
This fucking lady could get on my nerves anymore. It's when she's out in space when they're in like this super stressful situation. Ooh.
And he's a little freaked out.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
There's a thin line between it.
He's like, focus. She's like,
And then they go inside and she wants to go back out again.
Drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I do not, I'm going to say, and I'll forget in 2 weeks, my least favorite character. And if I come back and say, you know what, she's okay, tell me No, that's not.
Yeah.
Because I don't fucking like her.
Liar.
So yeah, then Mal heads into the ship with the others.
Yeah. Just around the same time though is when River and Simon also come back in. Which, how did they know when to come back in?
Well, they realized they could see there was a window there.
Oh, yeah,
they could see all the Alliance guards.
They left.
So they thought it was
okay,
safe.
We'll go back in. Both these things are happening at the same time, right? So Salem and River are coming back into the ship because they think like, it's all clear. They can start to come back in and wait for everybody to return. But they don't realize, of course, what has happened. So then the Alliance is coming back into the ship with Mal. At this point, they're like looking around, seeing if they can find the guy. Mal like starts to walk up towards like what would be the walkway that River and Simon would be on, and he of course turns the corner, and there they are like standing there because they realize too that the Alliance is back on the ship, and they're like, "Fuck, right?" Yeah. So that happens. They realize that like, oh fuck, we're kind of in a shitty spot now, and then all of a sudden. The crazy guy comes in. So the crazy guy comes in, starts attacking everybody, and he ends up like jumping on Parkin, the captain, and attacking the shit out of him. And that's when Mal, with his handcuffs, go around and choke the guy out and rescue the captain.
Which of course you could see coming from a mile away.
Oh yeah.
Like we knew, I knew from the get-go that this guy was going to freak out. He was going to save the captain.
Oh, yeah.
The captain was going to be like, okay, we're not going to throw you in. Like,
yeah, right.
We're still going to take our shit.
Yeah. We're going to take your shit, and we're going to blow up that other ship.
Right.
But, like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, because he did tell them to blow that other ship up.
Yeah.
And he was like, no. He's like, yeah, we're going to get rid of evidence.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that.
But Mal's like, no, you really should.
And he did. He's like, okay.
Yeah, and actually, I may believe you a little bit now that I've been attacked by this crazy person, so...
But that's where I was curious, because when he attacks the crew, then he's trying to get them. I don't know. He's got like he's got like fish hooks
He's
and
like
shit.
Yeah, he's gone.
All kinds of stupid shit.
Yeah.
Is this what Reavers do?
So I'm wondering if Reavers, because let's flash back. Shepard made the comment, Reavers are human, left alone, like, what was it?
They just basically
far away from society or something like
so
that.
Much so they forgot.
Yeah,
how
something like
to be
that.
civilized.
But still, people.
Right.
So are Reavers people from the start? Like,
well, we discussed this before because when we were talking about,
we were trying to see like. You don't remember?
We discussed this because back in the first one, when they were talking about when they first saw Reavers, it showed us Reavers in the first episode, and Wash was like, "Oh, they're running without any core containment." And so that's when we had a discussion about maybe they've gotten a lot of radiation exposure.
Yeah, we were discussing like what they look like. Are they going to show us what they look like?
Right. I remember that.
Yeah.
You do or you don't?
Oh, no, he's lying.
But yeah, I mean,
it was a month ago, guys.
I figure they were human and had radiation, some kind of radiation poisoning of some sort. But it looks like they just lose their fucking shit. And this guy, the only reason why he lost his fucking shit is because he watched them do all the stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, is that how you turn into? Because I swear, I'm picturing that movie with Tim Allen. Great.
No, we've already had this discussion.
That's what I'm saying. I'm picturing. What's the movie? What was that movie? Galaxy Quest. Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest. Because you pictured it being those guys.
The fucking scaly dudes that are fucked up and.
Or Predator. We talked about that too. And,
yeah.
Or again, we could reference Fallout, and they could be ghouls.
Right, because she said that too.
Because radiation.
And then I was like, I don't.
When I finished editing, because I'm still in the midst of editing the first episode, I have not completed that yet. I'll send it to you. You just watch.
Just give me a refresher.
Yeah, right. You'll have to rewatch episodes every so often.
Yeah, I know what everybody has said.
Yeah. By a million times. Yeah. She could just quote the whole thing.
So, maybe they're people, maybe they're not.
Right.
We don't know.
Well, Shepard says that they are they were once human.
Yeah.
Or they are human. They are human.
Well,
but they
I wonder if there's something else, though, that maybe we'll learn later. Because, like, so that guy turned into a Reaver based on what he saw and witnessed. But, like, maybe there's another way to also become a Reaver, and maybe we do get into something more of, like...
I think that's what Shepard
they
was
had
talking
to
about.
Started from something, right?
Right.
Yeah.
caused by something.
Well, that's what Shepard, I think, was referring to with those Reavers. The original Reavers were men that had just gone so far out into the galaxy, so far away from normal civilization.
That
They've just been alone and they've gone crazy.
Just love to skin somebody.
Oh, yeah.
If we ever
Yeah.
get in contact with humans again.
I've been sitting at home alone for 8 years. I have yet to rape, skin, or wear anybody's
yeah,
face as my clothing.
Yeah, that is true. Right.
In that order. If you're lucky.
If you're lucky. I know, I just think about
Right.
the days that I'm off and Christopher's not, and I'm sitting at home in the dark, in the silence, and he's
Can't
like, are
wait
you
to
okay?
see
I'm like, I'm having a great time.
I'm
You know,
ready to skin somebody.
Yeah, but at no point am I like,
I'm about to make a dress.
That's what I'm actually contemplating while I'm sitting alone in the dark.
Christopher walks in the
Picture
door.
your big toes as earrings.
Let's just stick them in her gauges.
Yeah, I'll put your pinky toes through there.
So, yeah. Reavers.
Yeah.
So he saves him.
Yeah, so Mel subdues the now violent survivor, proving to Harkin that Reavers are real, and the Alliance takes custody of the man, though they doubt he will ever recover. We get into like the release and departure, which we kind of talked about too, where they let Mal go, they let the whole crew go because he saved his life and everything, and they let Serenity go, and then they blow up the other ship because Mal's like, you don't want to fucking keep that.
Yeah.
And after like proving everything that just happened, they were like, yeah, we should probably just get rid of that. So got rid of that. They took all their loot still and everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Alliance took it and they just let Serenity go. And they go their separate ways.
Which I get it's a TV show, and I get they gotta make it fit. But that was that was the last 5 minutes. It's like, oh, you're right, get out of here, we're keeping your shit.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, that was the end of
But
it.
I mean, what else is there?
I want to
Really,
hear Mal shit talk this fucking Darth Vader dude.
and be like, oh, you thought I was fucking lying?
Right
Yeah.
now, bitch.
Yeah, right.
Okay. And
Slap her.
just like the little bit of, like, that would be rewarding.
Yeah.
Just to
but-
hear.
Well, apparently they used up all their extra time they could use in other episodes in the first episode.
True.
So
Yes.
every episode after that could only be anywhere from 42 to 45 minutes.
Right.
That's why it took us 3 episodes to do number 1.
Exactly. And I also just put, I don't know, do you want to add other stuff?
No, I think that was
Oh, I was gonna just say, this episode is a chilling look at the horror of Reavers while highlighting Mal's quick thinking and the crew's resilience in the face of danger.
Well said, baby.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to add? Very good.
I'm good. I'm gonna like Jane until next week, and I might forget that I like him. I don't know.
Right.
We're gonna see how he acts next week. It's a good refresher. Every week, I might or might not like these.
Right, yeah. And that's a wrap on our discussion of Bushwhacked. We got a deeper look at the Reavers, saw just how terrible the Alliance is at searching a ship, and of course, witnessed Mal once again proving he's willing to do the right thing even when there's nothing in it for him. What do you think? Do you think the Alliance really doesn't believe in Reavers? Was this episode creepier than you expected? And most importantly, why was Jane collecting space trash? I think it was space trash. Anyway, let us know what you think. If you're enjoying One Season Wonder, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe. It helps more folks find the show. And as always, keep watching and listening so we don't become a One Season Wonder ourselves. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.